Hello, and how's it going, everybody? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news, and 2 videos today. This week has been nuts. This week has been crazy with Microsoft buying Bethesda and ZeniMax, and now we have potentially the first and most credible leak regarding Starfield so far. This leak hasn't been debunked yet, and usually these kind of leaks get debunked very, very quickly, and I ran all the images in this leak, and yes, there are actual kind of gameplay images, 3 actually, and I used multiple different reverse image search software. I did reverse video search software because there's reverse video search things that you can run it if someone took like a screenshot from certain things, if that's what these images were. I couldn't find anything. I used multiple different programs, multiple different sites. A ton of other people in my community and other Bethesda YouTuber communities try to figure this out, and there are even some people that claim that they've seen inside leaks before that they haven't talked about, and that these images look like the images that they've seen. So far, this leak does seem to be the most credible one. However, I cannot say it's legit. I can't say it's confirmed because then I would be spreading misinformation, but it hasn't been debunked yet, and they usually are. I'm hoping by the time that I upload this video it's not debunked, but this leak is nuts. Now let's go ahead and let's look at these images. I'll give you what I think about them, my thoughts on them, and I kind of have an idea as to where these images could have came from if they were indeed from Bethesda Game Studios. And an interesting thing to keep in mind here is that we get the first most credible Starfield leak after the Bethesda and Microsoft partnership, and it makes me wonder, maybe some Microsoft employees have access to Starfield's development process now, since the 2 companies are working together, and mainly because of this partnership there is a little bit of a lapse in security, and a Microsoft employee or someone associated with Microsoft maybe leaked this. I know that's probably some bad speculation to have. I don't want to spread that rumor, but that's just seems pretty plausible given the most recent change in Bethesda's security scheme. Now this is the source for this leak. You can see, of course, it's on Reddit, where else would it be, and it's from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit. Normally when stuff gets posted here, it usually gets debunked pretty fast, like very quickly. However, no one has been able to debunk this yet, and it's still left up here, and it has a lot of thumbs down, which is just normal for this kind of stuff, but no one, if you can look at the comments here, no one is able to debunk this. Let's look at the most recent comment really quick. Nothing. No one can debunk this yet. No one in my community has debunked this, and like I said, I ran a bunch of stuff and I couldn't find anything either. And as for who listed it, it's someone named Electrical Aid 8659. Now, one thing that comes to mind here, this is a new account, and a lot of people think that lends some like lack of credibility to this rumor, but the thing is, if there is a legit leak, usually it's going to come from an account that's brand new. It wouldn't come from like some account with a history of posting things. Someone's going to make a throwaway account to do this, but why would he make his throwaway account Reddit name be Electrical Aid 8659? I think that must be a sign or a clue that he is working on like the technical side of things wherever he works. In this speculation case, maybe Microsoft, and indeed he is a technical aide for Bethesda working at Microsoft who leaked this. That might kind of like narrow down who he is, so that may not have been the smartest thing to do. However, this is just speculation based off a possible just random silly name. Now these are the images. This is what you've been waiting to see the entire time I've been babbling. First of all, this is the main image right here, and one important thing to note that the community has noticed is if you look at the arm patch on this guy, it looks almost identical to this image taken from the official E3 2018 Starfield teaser trailer. Of course, the word Constellation was visible in the trailer to those with a keen eye, and a strange logo, which when you adjust it and kind of look at the patch on this guy's arm, it kind of has the same structure and looks almost identical to the logo from the trailer. Now, some people are saying this looks a little lackluster, this doesn't look too exciting, but it does indeed look like a Bethesda Game Studios style game. One thing we need to keep in mind here, though, is this is probably a very, very early build, and to me, I'm not a experienced game developer by any means. I've been working on a game for like maybe a half a year now. I'm kind of familiar with how like game development works on a very basic and technical level, and when we look at these images, to me, these just look like assets that were placed into the game engine on the development side. Basically, someone like has a empty scene that they can then build a level or like a place that something happens in, and they just happen to take a character, probably the main player character model at the start of the game in an idle pose, an idle animation, put them into the game development engine, and then took this, whatever this is here, a ship, or maybe it's a building or whatever. I'm not sure if it's the same ship here. They don't look necessarily the same, but they took whatever this building, the structure is, and they also placed it into the game engine, and then they put the HUD on there, and then they just went into the empty scene with these two assets and took a screenshot. This doesn't look like it's anything gameplay oriented, although I could be wrong. This could be like an image of you being on the moon, and that's why there's not much visible stuff going on. But the other image we have is what looks like the HUD element that was in the lower left. You can see an oxygen meter, a CO2 meter, some kind of triangle where they have one triangle, and then what looks like maybe an altimeter or something over here, and then what looks like the cold and the dark measurement of the planet, meaning the Terminator. And the Terminator on planets is basically where night and day transfer, and on some planets, mostly moons, nighttime can be deadly because of the huge temperature differences. Thank you to Futurama for helping me learn that, and maybe that's a factor that will be taken in the Starfield. If you're on a planet with not much of an atmosphere and you're on the night side, it's going to be freezing cold and you need to get back to your ship or shelter as fast as possible. And then we have this image of what looks like a ship, and I mean, it looks kind of similar to the ships in the Outer Worlds, like not totally put together, not 100% like high-grade fantasy sci-fi stuff, more like very low-grade entry-level space technology. It looks like it's been used and abused. It doesn't look like it's, you know, smooth corners and all white and blue colors and lights that you'd expect from like a super fancy Alliance ship in, say, Mass Effect. This looks like it's early on in the space technology stage, if I had to make a guess, but all that is just speculation. Either way, this does look like it could be credible. None of this has been debunked at the time I'm doing this. I keep going over to this every few seconds. I'm recording this to make sure it's not debunked yet, and it hasn't been debunked yet, but this is nuts. This looks like, so far, the most credible Starfield leak to date, and this gets me hyped. However, some people are judging it. Some people are saying this looks very lackluster and basic, but we do need to keep in mind here, this is probably a very limited or early version of the game, or like I said earlier, I think this is just 2 or 3 assets placed into a game engine with an empty scene, and that's why it's lacking a lot of the visual elements that we might be seeing, a lot of the other graphical aspects, like maybe even illumination, lighting, better lighting, more like ray tracing, that kind of stuff, and just anything that would basically make this look like a completed product. I'm pretty sure that this UI in this scene itself is even an early UI. I don't think this is going to be how the UI is placed in the game. I mean, look, it looks like the health and the stamina bars are like completely covered up by whatever this shotgun is, and this person has 0 ammos or grenades. This UI is probably the most thing out of this leak that kind of makes it seem a little fake, because the UI doesn't line up and looks tacked on, but that could just have something to do with perspective here. I'm not so sure. And another thing to keep in mind here is this dude has a jetpack, so that's cool. Starfield might have a jetpack if this leak is true. But anyway, I could break down this leak more. However, I want to give it some time to settle to see if it's debunkable, and I want to do some more high-level research into this. I don't think I'm going to be able to find anything else regarding if this is fake or not. I don't think I'm going to trace this down if it came from anywhere, since no one else has. But so far, this does seem like the most credible Starfield leak. I mean, we got a dude with a jetpack, and the structure here. I know I'm going to be rambling a bit, but man, the structure, imagine if this is also a scene taken from maybe you building a settlement on the moon, and this is one of the structures you can build. Oh, I could speculate so much. I'll probably speculate more over this image tomorrow once the dust settles and we can maybe find out a little bit more about its validity. But until then, what I want to know is, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that these images are legit? Do you guys think this leak is true? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content. This video was brought to you by the following amazing people, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time, when maybe this leak might force Bethesda Game Studios to finally start talking about Starfield officially. I doubt that. They're never gonna do that. Who am I kidding?
It just works.